Now that you're familiar with microphones and other playback equipment in the control room, let me introduce you to the radio broadcast console, universally known as the board in the broadcast industry. The board is at the heart of any studio and is the main audio mixer, which combines or mixes audio signals to produce a main output. All of the playback equipment is controlled by the console, which serves as the interface the announcer uses to control what's heard on the air. A radio broadcast console is different from a PA or live sound mixer and is built for ease of use by the operator. Let's begin with the pot diagram. Pot is short for potentiometer and refers to an individual channel with a slide fader to set the audio gain and control the volume units for each input or playback equipment. Gain is the signal power or sound volume, and fade means to vary in intensity as a gradual change of audio. When something is faded up, faded in, or potted up, the volume is gradually increased. When something is faded down, faded out, or potted down, the volume is gradually decreased. The input selector on each pot selects between one of two preset playback sources to be controlled by that pot. In the example on this slide, pot A only controls microphone 1. Pot B can control either CD player 1 or turntable 1. Pot C can control CD player 2 or turntable 2, and Pot C can control the computer audio or satellite receiver audio. Each pot can only control one playback source at a time, but has the ability to switch between the sources assigned to it. Now, most modern digital consoles allow you to dial up any source on any pot on the board as the sources are wired into a network hub that is available to the console. The audio outputs from the console's inputs must have a destination, which is routed by the pot's program bus. In this example, the program bus sends the audio to the air chain. The audition bus feeds the remote broadcast, which the roving announcer would hear outside the studio location when doing a remote broadcast. The auxiliary bus feeds the station's internet stream, and the offline bus is what a caller would hear when using the studio telephone. More than one program bus can be selected at a time, sending that pot's audio to multiple destinations simultaneously. The remote start, better known as the on button, triggers the audio from the playback source rather than from the playback equipment itself. For example, if you're using a CD player, you would insert the CD to the player, dial up the desired track, and put the player in pause mode at the beginning of the track. Once you want to play the audio on the air, you would press the on button on the console and not the one on the CD player. When a microphone pot is activated, meaning turned on, the studio monitors will mute to prevent feedback. This is the reason headphones must be worn when speaking on the air. It also activates the on air light outside the studio door to warn others from entering, interrupting, and causing a distraction. The off button does just that. It removes audio from that pot and deactivates it. The queue function bypasses the program bus destinations and routes the audio to an external speaker to preview a source's audio before broadcast. Using queue is the best way to preview any pre-recorded audio before airing. The talkback function is used to create a mix minus feed with certain input sources. A mix minus feed is when the output of the mixer contains everything but a designated input to prevent echoes and feedback. For example, when using the studio telephone, the caller will hear all the relevant feeds or mix minus their own voice in the phone receiver when on air.